Abolished?
Yeah, because they want homeless people abolished. They want homeless people to disappear.
Okay.
But we have a very, very visible crisis of homelessness in New York City right now.
Okay.
The solution to homelessness is houses. People want houses. They don't want temporary emergency beds and prison-like shelters. Well, what we're seeing in New York, there's actually several 100,000 homeless in New York. The city offers emergency housing through a shelter system, but the shelter system is equivalent to, it's something like a prison.
Same way
It's
here.
like a voluntary prison.
Yeah.
So there's tens of thousands of people who choose not to live in the shelter system and are finding protection, community, and solidarity support by living in encampments that are across the city. But the new mayor of New York City, former police officer by the name of Eric Adams, has decided that he's going to eliminate the encampments from the city. There's a program of elimination that began earlier this year. They've been sending police and sanitation authorities to steal the property of our homeless neighbors, the personal property, steal their tents, throw everything away, and try and force them into homeless shelters. But
or into the woods or in the back gardens of the, not in the city, basically.
Exactly.
Don't want to be seen as visible.
They're allowed, the law says they're allowed to sleep on the street, but they are not allowed to put up structures. So they can't stop people from choosing to sleep on the street, but they can take away their property when they sleep in
Could
the
I ask you a question? Would you consider structure would be a tent? It's like would be a tent would be considered a structure, or
it's considered a structure,
but it's movable.
So the tents are, the tents are considered by the city government to be a structure, and those tents are repeatedly. There's one encampment called Anarchy Row, Avenue B and 7th Street in Lower Manhattan that have resisted consistently. They've been swept every single week, but volunteers have come together to bring them more each week after they're swept, to bring them new tents. There's a whole community of support around that encampment. It's a very small group of maybe seven people living in tents. We've had events with them, movie nights out on the street, putting up screens and guerrilla activities like that. And there's been big demonstrations of support. When there are sweeps, we can get 100 people out to try and stop the authorities.
So basically say that like government consider a tent is a structure, but structure is very easily movable. You just take one and easily pull up like a bag, basically.
Yep.
And I don't see like for me it's not a structure.
Yeah.
I don't know why is it categorized as a structure. Yeah. So like it's same like you're putting your bag as well. It's considered to be a structure now. If I'm putting my shopping bag.
Just the tents. That's as far as they will go. But if there's anything in the tents, what they'll do is they'll pull up with a garbage truck, and if anybody tries to stop them from picking up the tent and any belongings that are inside the tent,
police doing
they'll
this?
be arrested.
Or city council?
Police, the police by order of the mayor, Eric Adams.
Okay. And is it their law, like if somebody finds property on the street which is not belongs to one, is there a law that police supposed to be, before they dump it or do something with the property, personal property of person, do they supposed to report it? We find missing property. If person not come back for that property to the local police station, then it's dumped or being basically taken.
I'm not sure exactly what the laws around finding personal property would be. I assume
like basically you found the phone, you bring it to the guard station or police station. Like what? Police gonna just we dump the phone, we don't care. Is it? It's exactly the same. Phone is a personal property, and the tent and belongings close is personal property. So, like.
That's a reasonable argument. It's a reasonable argument, but the interpretation of the laws of New York by the current administration and the police department believe that tents qualify as structures. They're obstructions, and what they do is they put up an order. They have to put up an order when there's going to be a sweep, so people have enough time to pack up their belongings and leave. But there are certain communities that have resisted and they've stayed put. And when the police come to sweep with the sanitation department, everything is thrown out. And if people resist, they're arrested and sent to jail.
Okay, for just sleeping in the streets, exercise right to sleep, just
to live.
Live, sleep, eat, and survive. like, would you mind to actually inquire about law in relation about of missing property or found property by police? Because police have a duty when they find something, I believe, in Ireland as well. They're supposed to, before they dump it or destroy it, they're supposed to give opportunity to the human to come back for the local police station and say, oh, by the way, that's my jeans, that's my shoes, that's my passport, that's my passport. Like basically, they take entire tent and dump it without looking at it. What is there?
Everything inside
Dump.
goes in the trash.
And then it's destroyed.
Destroyed.
So that's the goal. That's how they destroy our rights. Because it could be passport there, driving license, credit cards, keys. So personal property. So basically, you like. Do you think that personal property rights is affected at the moment in your country?
Yeah.
So basically, vanished, abolished.
Yeah, because they want homeless people abolished. They want homeless people to disappear.
Okay.
But we have a very, very visible crisis of homelessness in New York City right now.
Okay, do you ever seen people start making campaigns like this, like putting a tent and write slogans about like houses, not tents, houses, not sleeping bags?
Of course.
Did they try to campaign like something?
They want homes because there are empty apartments. There's hundreds of thousands of empty apartments in New York that are I don't know how to pronounce it. They're used as second homes by wealthy people, or they're rented out as Airbnbs. There's hundreds of thousands of empty apartments, and when you see people like Anarchy Row in New York City, like the Rent Refusers Network, you see signs like this. They're saying the solution to homelessness is houses. People want houses. They don't want temporary emergency beds and prison-like shelters. They want houses.
You've been yourself activist. You've been involved in different helping homeless.
I've supported a lot of the organizing that's going around with.
And when you start actually organizing and supporting, did you get actually abused by the authorities or police? Did they try to like take your character away? Oh, by the way,
I personally have not been on the front line when there's been a sweep defense. Right. So that's one of the things is there will be a sweep defense. You'll get as many people out as possible. Usually happens like around 11 to 12 during the day, which that timing has never worked for me to actually be at a frontline defense. But there are people who will put themselves on the line and be arrested consistently. I personally have not.
You actually like on the chessboard is like try to organize the tactics how to do the best way.
Yeah, well, what I've been doing is I've been supporting the community. The type of organizing I do a lot of organizing through film and culture. So we organize guerrilla cinema nights. So we'll have an encampment like this. We'll take out a screen, we'll put it up.
Basically here,
just like
not so far.
Just like this.
A small projector.
We'll bring a projector out, a generator. We'll invite people out from the encampment community. They'll choose the film. Give people opportunity to talk on the microphone about how they like, why they chose this film, why they like this film, and then we'll just share some food, share some discussion, conversation,
and where actually you can find this your like community based on Facebook or Instagram.
So,
could you
our project is called Cinemobile, CINEMOBIL NYC. And we work again with the Anarchy Row encampment in New York and the Rent Refusers Network as well. And all of them are on social media.
Do you believe that the solution for the human being nowadays, not a house, not temporary accommodation, but the actual tent and sleeping bag, like by the government? That's what solutions they offer at the moment, like.
Look, in New York, you don't even get a tent.
Really?
I feel like because they'll take it away. So I think the problem is with housing. Problem is with housing as a commodity, with housing as an investment, and not housing as a fundamental human right. Everybody has a human right to housing.
Could I ask you a question as well in relation about the structure? If I actually go now, take sleeping bag and lay down in the middle of streets, could they do the same? Serve me on when I'm sleeping, the nose on my face or whatever on my back, and say, by the way, you need to move yourself.
And then the next day,
would we consider a structure as well when you're in a sleeping bag?
A sleeping bag, no. Sleeping bag, no.
The same material used, not big difference.
It's just got these. That's what it is, right
structure.
Here. That's what makes it.
Okay. Sleeping. Some bags, shopping bags have structure as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, man, I'd love you to talk to Eric Adams. And the NYPD.
What do you think is the solution for the homelessness in your country?
Decommodify housing. housing should not be for profit. Abolish landlords. Make housing available for everyone. Socialize housing. That's the solution.
The solution. And do you think the issue with as well that in London we have situation that homeless people was presented as bad people, drug users, abusers, violent, drug addict, alcohol addict, different types of personality, but never say like, oh, the person been evicted and he have no place to sleep. Like, do you, in your countries, this is try to present the same way, to take the character away of the homeless person and say this is a bad guy, don't help him, he's on own.
Dangerous, mentally ill. That's it. In New York and the United States, they're mentally ill, potentially dangerous.
They label them as mentally ill and potentially dangerous to society. So don't involve with them.
Stay away, walk away, keep a safe distance. Look at the ground.
Don't talk to them.
Don't talk to them.
Do you believe that government trying to implement in your country dehumanization of human, that human wouldn't help another human beings? Do you think it's dehumanization happen?
Yeah, of course, because the homeless people are considered non-human or less than human. They don't. In the United States, everything's about citizens. Is what gives you humanity is being a property owner, being a voter. People who don't own property, don't have an address, aren't registered to vote. They don't exist for politicians, right? They don't exist. So they're inconvenient. So it's just easier to disappear them, to avoid them, than to actually confront the social problem that creates this.
Do you, in your country, a person with vulnerable person, a homeless person, actually have ability to access water 24 hours? Or there is no water facility, water station, because it's a human right to get the water.
Stations, yeah.
There are water stations 24 hours.
Yeah.
What about toilet facility? Is it
toilet facility has been a struggle. There are public toilets in parks and in subway stations, but those were actually, for a very long time, they were closed under lock and key because homeless would use them. And so they were unpleasant, they were dirty, there would be drug users in there, and the polite society was scandalized by it and didn't feel like they could use the public bathroom, so they were closed. So rather than having a space for homeless people in need of basic facilities, that were, maybe difficult to clean, maybe there would be drug use in them, the city for a very long time decided to close them under lock and key. Little by little, there's been a lot of activism and a lot of pressure to start reopening these bathrooms, and that's something that we're starting to see coming back.
Yeah, fair play to you, Bazar. Just could you actually take my Facebook, Paul Lennon, and friend me, please send me a friend request, because I actually would like to involve in developing a strategy how we can fight this in your country and in Ireland as well.
I'm happy to.
Yeah, we need to start united, brother.
All right.
Yeah, of course, yeah, definitely. Paul Lennon is my name. We'll publish all the photos.